Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 13 of CCFR Radio on the Air. I'm your host, Rod Giltaka. Thanks for joining me again today on the show. The Ottawa Police have decided they're going to decline participation in the Liberals' firearm confiscation scheme. Kind of interesting. Speaking of the confiscation program, the numbers are out for 1 full month of the portal being open for Canadians to input their information on all their firearms for possible confiscation. We'll see how popular that program really is. The CCFR participated just this past week in a fantastic rally against this program in Quebec. We've got that whole story with Tracy Wilson, and the Supreme Court did provide the CCFR with an update on whether or not CCFR versus Canada will proceed to the highest court in the land. Anyway, all that and more, CCFR Radio starts right now.
CCFR Radio on the Air is brought to you by Wild TV Plus, the best hunting, fishing, and outdoor content available anywhere, anytime, on any device. Visit wildtvplus.ca.
All right, we are back. Now, I've got a really important update for you, as well as a couple of housekeeping items to share before we bring Wilson on for the next two segments. So let's get to the most important thing first. If you guys remember a little while back, well, almost 6 years ago, the CCFR sued the Canadian federal government for this crazy firearm prohibition. And basically we said, hey, you're violating the criminal code yourself. And on top of that, you're using an order in council to make illegal like $1 billion worth of property from millions of Canadians. Like you shouldn't be able to do that with an order in council, meaning like you're just filling out a form and filing it with the governor and council. Like that shouldn't, or the governor general, right? Like that shouldn't be a thing. So anyway, the federal court said, no, the government can do whatever it wants, any way that it wants to, whoever it wants, whenever it wants. And we said, well, hey, Federal Court of Canada, we think you're in error in your decision. We filed for an appeal at the Federal Court of Appeal, and we were granted an appeal, and the court sided with the government again. And we still thought there's an error in this judgment. We applied to the Supreme Court of Canada. Now, we applied to the Supreme Court of Canada 7 months ago. The Supreme Court does not have to take any case it doesn't want to hear. And there's a whole bunch of qualifiers. There's a variety of different qualifiers. It's got to be in the public interest and blah, 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 blah. Usually within 3 to 6 months, you know whether the court's going to hear your case or not. And the court has been silent for 7 months. We finally heard back from the Supreme Court, not whether or not they're going to take our case, but that they have convened a panel of judges to determine whether or not they're going to hear us. And we should know within 30 to 60 days. That's the last word we've got. So at least they're looking at it now, and we should have a decision on whether or not we are going to be bringing CCFR versus Canada to the highest court of the land, right? So anyway, that's the update. This was the largest lawsuit in Canadian history on behalf of gun owners. The CCFR put $3.4 million into this case. A very, very big case and a very important case. So anyway, we will let you know when we hear back from the Supreme Court, and hopefully the news is that we are going there, but we'll see. All right. Housekeeping item. As you guys know, it's raining guns over at the CCFR. We have the largest gun contest in Canadian history. We're giving away 100 guns. And where did these guns come from? They were all donated to us. So fantastic. So I just want to make sure that every episode I read all the people that have gone into their own pockets to provide funding to help us help you as gun owners, right? To entice you to donate to the CCFR, and we couldn't do it without these people. Calgary Shooting Center, Wards and Bud Haynes Auction, Sterling Arms, Chippewa Trading Post, Odell Engineering, Canuck Guns, Select Shooting Supplies, General Gun, SFRC, otherwise known as the AmmoSource.com, Reliable Gun Vancouver, Jost Arms, the CCFR threw a couple in there, Simply Berkey, Justin over there in Medicine Hat, Alberta. Thanks, Justin. Gagnon Sports, Stan's Plumbing Service, Prophet River Firearms, of course, Canadian Access to Firearms, otherwise known as CATF, Spectre Ballistics International, Magnus & Sons, YR Firearms, and of course the General Counsel of the CCFR, Loberg Ector in Calgary, Alberta. Fantastic law firm. smoking smart lawyers over there, and they do a fantastic job. So these are the people that donated 100 guns in total to the CCFR. So I want to thank every single one of them. If you want to get your name in, get a free entry into this contest, all you need to do is donate $20 to the CCFR. Go to ccfr.ca, donate $20, and you'll get a free entry into the contest. Read all the rules before entering. And we will be drawing for that on May 1st. So you have a little bit less than 2 months to partake in that contest by donating and getting your free entry. So anyway, we won't be drawing on May 1st, on or about May 1st, but the contest closes then. All right. Thanks for listening to that. When we come back, we'll have Tracy Wilson and some great news. All right, we are back in via the internet. We've got Tracy Wilson of the CCFR. What's up?
Wilson! Haha, bonjour, my friend Rod.
Bonjour to you as well, also.
Yes, I've been in the land of Quebec speaking French, but we're going to talk about that later.
Excellent. We are going to talk about that later. Actually, not until the next segment, because we've got some really great stuff to talk about in this segment and in the next one as well. Isn't that good?
Yes. That is good. It's normally like a doomsday doing this podcast, but yeah, there's some fun stuff today.
Yeah, lots of positive news. So let's get started with the first piece of positive news. Not only is the overwhelming majority of frontline police officers across the entire country all against the federal government and the confiscation / buyback program, but the Ottawa Police have decided to opt out as well.
That's right. So at the time of recording, it just broke this morning that Ottawa Police Services here in the nation's capital have decided to not participate in the buyback. And that's pretty meaningful. This is my hometown, but this is also the city where all the politicians are, right? Because we've got Parliament downtown. So basically, Ottawa said no to Ottawa. So things are not going so great for our friend Gun Grab Gary.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Let's hope they continue to not go great for him. Now, speaking of things not going great for Gun Grab Gary, when the confiscation / compensation program first came out, there was, after the first week, public safety announced how many firearms they had gotten registered into the program, and what was like 22,000 and change or something. And then
something like
week
that.
2, crickets. Week 3,
and change.
Crickets. And now after week 4, they're like, oh, well, I guess we can't just hide the numbers anymore. Let's release them. What happened there?
Yeah. So here we are a month later, and they've barely scraped together 33,000 declarations. Now, this is meaningful because there are, to our estimates, somewhere around 2 million firearms affected. I think they were willing to pay for, I don't know, 130,000 or 150,000 firearms out of the 2 million, everyone else getting ripped off, but they haven't even got those people to sign up. I know a lot of people with previously restricted, therefore registered, you would think would be signing up, but they're not. I am those people. I am not doing it. And it's just another big fail for Gun Grab Gary.
Yeah. Not going well. And of course, as you said, the surprising thing is there are people with AR-15s and other short-barreled semi-automatics, stuff like that. And there are 126,000 restricted firearms that are affected by these bans. And you would think those, and they're, as you said, therefore registered. You'd think those people would be like, well, I have it. I'm giving it up or deactivating it or disabling it. Deactivating it or destroying it myself. You have the registration anyway. So, might as well try to get paid for it. It's like, no, people are like, no, we're going to wait right to the last minute because things may change, right? A lot can happen, as we've said many times, between now and the end of October. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's a big failure. It's dismal. Like, those numbers are embarrassing. He must be completely shocked at where they are.
Yeah, I don't know. Interestingly enough, of course, when politicians can't be honest at the best of times. And I mean, there's some good politicians out there. I shouldn't say that. It's a broad sweeping statement. And I shouldn't do those, but there are a lot of bad people involved in politics in Canada, like some really, really bad people. But they always exceed expectations when they're like, how do I make this? How do I tell people none of this is my fault? So Gun Grab Gary went to the media and said that the reason why these numbers for registrations for their confiscation program are so low is because the delays in rolling this program out diminished the support. It's because it took so long.
Like it couldn't possibly be that people don't want to accept blame for crimes they didn't commit, or they don't want their property they've owned safely and without issue for decades or generations stolen from them. It couldn't possibly be any of those things. It must just be that he's a little late opening up his registration portal. That's it.
Yeah. We're going to have to
Okay.
change his name to Gaslight Gary.
Gaslight and Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Gun
It
Grab and
suits.
Gaslight Gary.
Oh boy.
Anyways. Okay, cool. These guys, right?
Oh yeah.
They'll never surprise you how low they'll stoop to just hang on to a shred of legitimacy. Anyway, all that I think is quite hilarious. Now,
It is,
you
it is.
were you were invited to go to the Safari Club International's convention down in Nashville a number of years ago. We thought, okay, well, you were given a role there, right, to talk to speak during the Canada conference, and your role there has actually increased over the years.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm never sad when I get to go somewhere fun. And of course, Nashville is a very fun town. However, it was all business. So I had a seminar that I gave. I called it Canada Cautionary Tale, sort of warning American hunters and hunters across the country about what can happen to your firearms, which is what's happening here in Canada. And I also spoke on another international panel about traveling with firearms and gave a legal update to their legal team and spoke at the Canada Committee meeting. So it was like a full day of speaking all over the place. I literally wore my running shoes, but really grateful to SCI Canada for the opportunity. And yeah, just a really incredible convention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
When it started, I wasn't sure. And now you've got a really great role there. And SCI is a great organization. So we really appreciate that opportunity. Anyway, all right. We have some more things to cover in the next segment. So stick with us. All right, we are back now. We've got more fun stuff to cover, and we'll start with the most fun thing to cover of all, which is we've been talking about this Quebec rally. You were there. You got to meet up with so many great people. There's a big crowd there. Everything went beautifully. Tell us all about it, Ms. Wilson.
Well, a lot of people have been thanking me for this rally, and I will tell you straight up front, I'm not taking any credit for it. I did show up and I promoted it, but there's a whole list of people who did all the hard work of planning it, and it was a massive success. So I'm going to spout these names at you. Sophie Belaund and Jason Warren, Quebec directors for the CCFR, amazing people. They did a fantastic job. Our good old friend Guy Morin, he is the president of the Association des Clubs et Champs de Tir du Québec. Martin Bourget and Kate Nadeau, great couple, just wonderful speakers. They run Aventure, Chasse et Pêche, and Radio Crash, very popular Quebec gunny radio channel. And Stéphane Gamache, he did our security, and he brought his whole team, and there was not a single incident in this whole big rally. So that speaks to his competence. And of course, the Service du Police de Ville Québec, the Quebec City Police themselves, did a great job helping us out. They put up barriers for us. They used their vehicles as blocks so nobody could, smash into us with their cars, and just did great. There was an anonymous donor, I know who it is, but he wants to stay anonymous, who donated Johnny on the spot so we'd have bathrooms. And I'm always thankful for that because there was no trees for girls to hide behind. And DJ Remember Danny Boutat played the music. A whole bunch of our volunteers were there. Mark Lafon, Greg Weiss, Kelly Lynn, Damien McMullen, and Sean Branch. I'm probably missing somebody. It's not intentional, but we left the place clean. There was no disturbances or issues. We had fun music playing all day. It was wild. Tons of families and kids there. And even Guy Morin, they call him Uncle Manunk Guy. And he was up on top of the trailer throwing donuts at the kids. And it was just we had a pile of fun. But they're estimating somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 people showed up. So just a really big showing. And the amount of work it takes to put on something like this is huge. So special love to my girl Sophie for all her work. She
Well, you
just
can
did
take
a
credit
ton
for
of
the
stuff.
signs because we provide a lot of signs and they're beautiful.
Yes,
I think
500 signs.
yeah, most people actually keep those because they're a really
Mhm.
great keepsake. But
Yes.
yeah, so many people came together. So many people pulled money out of their own pockets to make all this happen, and buses, and there was clubs involved. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
so many great people. So yeah,
Yes. All
something
the
like this is really
clubs. Yeah.
special.
Yeah, it was very special, and I know Sophie got kind of emotional. And when you put all this work in, and you're tired and you're exhausted, and then you get there, and it's the day of, and you built it, and they came. And I know that feeling because when we did the Integrity March, I'll never forget that lump in my throat and the way it felt, kind of walking up the stairs to Parliament, and when the lawn kind of reached my eye level, and I was like, oh my word, and there was just a sea of people. The way that felt, she felt that too, this weekend. So it was just really special being there with her. And yeah, just a great girl. She's done so much for the CCFR. She lives and breathes it. And yeah, just thank you to everybody for all their hard work, and just a real show of unity, not just for Quebec gunnies, but everyone standing with them while their government's attacking them. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And our Quebec team is just fantastic. So
Oh, just amazing. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So we
Yeah.
got about 1 minute to talk about the Toronto Star and some, using air quotes, journalists in Canada. In particular, we're going to talk about Tristan Peliquin, otherwise known as Tristan Pangolin, from now on shall be known as, and his tomfoolery.
Yeah. Well, he wrote a story about this. And of course, he wrote a lot of wrong stuff about the rally. But it's funny. He used a picture with a guy wearing one of our hats. It's literally one of our trademark slogans. My guns are not for sale. And within the body of the story itself, it even said that the unifying message across the rally was my guns are not for sale. But the headline, they used my weapons are not for sale, which, I mean, maybe I'm just pulling strings here, nitpicking, but at the same time, I think like using language like that is intentional. They've since posted a retraction and fixed it and whatever, but the fact is, I don't think it was just a simple translation error, because he got it right in the body of the story, but screwed up the title. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, of course, it was intentional. Tristan Peliquin is Peliquin. Actually, it's Pangolin. I almost called him the wrong name. He's like another Jim Bronskill.
yeah.
They're cut from the same cloth. They're just picking winners and losers, putting their finger on the scale every chance they can, trying to hurt people they've never met. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, whatever. Enough about those.
Yeah, he was so hostile in an interview with Sophie, actually, just before the rally, that she had to end the interview and get off the air. Like, it was just crazy.
Well, if you want to know why there's no conversation being had in Canada about these things, you can look directly to Tristan Pangolin and the Jim Bronskills of the world. So
Yeah,
anyway, it's
yep,
always these liberals, man.
yeah, crazy.
So unfortunately, all right, we got about 30 seconds left. CCFR AGM, what's the update?
You can find all the details to get your tickets for the AGM at ccfr.ca, May 23rd. You're going to want to be in Toronto. We've got guest speakers. You and I are going to do an Ask Me Anything. We're going to have a beautiful meal. We're going to provide all the information about the organization to our members, and some really cool guest speakers. All the details are on the website. You can get your hotel there at a group rate, and just come on out. And of course, we're going to bring the laser range. So if you're up to it, I will challenge you to a duel. So come and see me at the AGM.
Yeah, you've been smack talking about that for a while. But anyway, I guess
Yeah.
we will see. We'll see what we see. As it
Yeah,
were.
we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Awesome, Wilson. Thanks for the update. And I guess we'll see you in the next one.
All right, we'll see you then.
All right, we are back. Now, as usual, here at the end, I only have you for about 2.5 minutes. And the most important thing that I need to get out of the way is Field Officer of the Month. But wait, not only just for February 2026, but for January 2026 too. We are 2 months behind on Field Officer of the Month because we've been running around like a bunch of lunatics over here at the CCFR since the new year. So we're behind in a lot of things, not just that. Anyway, your CCFR Field Officer of the Month for January 2026 is the incomparable Sophie Belland. So we talked about Sophie just now, Tracy and I. Sophie played a tremendous role in planning and executing this fantastic rally in Quebec. And she does so much great work for the CCFR, all volunteer in Quebec. So Sophie, congratulations on Field Officer of the Month for 2026. That's the second time she won that. And for February 2026, it's Vincent Leckie. So Vincent and his lovely wife, Karen, do a tremendous amount of work for the CCFR in Alberta. And these are just great people, all around great people. And you know what? The CCFR isn't the only organization that they volunteer for. Some people in our country do so much more than everybody else, basically. You have some really great people out there, and we are incredibly fortunate to have some of those helping us at the CCFR. So thank you, Sophie and Vincent. If you forgot what you get for being Field Officer of the Month, you get a year's free subscription from Canadian Access to Firearms, otherwise known as CATF. That is donated every month by one of the best gun owners in the country, Donovan Dewis over there at CATF. You also get a $100 promo code to the CCFR's online store, and you get mentioned here on the TV show and on the CCFR radio podcast on Rumble, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Just it's everywhere. So anyway, thanks guys for all your help. Last thing I'm going to say is, as you guys know, one more time, it's raining guns at the CCFR. We're giving away 100 guns to raise money for our either election project or the public relations project that we had planned to do. We're not sure if there's going to be an election called in the next week or two, so we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, if you want to support the CCFR, donate $20, get a free entry into the contest. Contest closes on May 1st. So make sure you do it well in advance of that. Read all the contest details before entering. Anyway, you got 100 chances to win a gun anywhere from a lever action 45-70 to down to a 22. So, and all of those firearms were donated by the people I talked about in the first segment. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Take care, and we will see you in the next one.